Hi guys, welcome to class. So, yeah, we have discussed vector. We have talked about vector, disease carrying organism, the carrier of the pathogen, and in most cases is the one that infects the infected individual with the pathogen, right? So that means that we can say some diseases are vector-borne diseases. Yes, we are right. If we say water-borne, it means that it doesn't need vector, it just consumes the water. Congratulations, you are infected. You take the contaminated food. Congratulations, you are infected. You are so unlucky, you just inhale the spore. You are so unlucky, you inhale the droplets. Well, you are infected. Congratulations. Well, vector-borne means that except you are come in contact with the vector, so you are spared if you have not come in contact with the vector. But if you should come in contact with the vector, not just a vector now, a vector that itself, should I say itself, that it is itself infected with the pathogen, you also hear congratulations, you have been infected. So vector-borne disease are diseases that these are illnesses that are due to infection by a disease-carrying vector, due to infection, to being infected by a disease-carrying vector. So far as carrying the pathogen makes it a vector. So by a vector, let's not make tautology. Because if you say disease-carrying vector, vector is a disease-carrying organism. So are we saying disease-carrying organism? Tautology, that's what you call tautology. So by vector. So illnesses that arise due to infection by a vector is what you call vector-borne diseases. And you see, for the infection caused by the protozoans, especially the protozoans, the infection caused by the protozoans, most of the infection caused by the protozoans are vector-borne. So most infections caused by, or most diseases rather, most diseases caused by protozoans are vector-borne. Most of diseases caused by protozoans are vector-borne. Now, remember I told you that the vector are mostly arthropods. These vectors are mostly arthropods, particularly of the class Insecta. You understand? So most of them are serve as carriers of these pathogens. And the thing is that the reason why they serve is that it's just due to the fact that these disease-causing organisms, these pathogens, they have to transcend between more like 2 or more hosts in completing their life cycle. So in some cases now, the insect now, the arthropod, the insect will serve as hosts. In most cases, like in the case of malaria now, the plasmodium is more like serving as the definitive host, while man is serving as the intermediate host. Even in addition to insects serving as arthropods, so rather serving as vectors, you also have things like some worms as well. So also serving as not vectors per se, but they can also cause disease. And those ones we call them nematodes. So those round ones, those ascaris lumbricoides, those schistosoma, they also can cause diseases as well. So you can call them nematode-borne diseases, but they are quite common. They are quite common as well, and they are also very important, significant. So this vector-borne disease, basically, their disease arise due to infection by a vector. So in case of mosquito, so example of a vector-borne disease would definitely be mosquito. I said mosquito rather. Malaria. Malaria is a vector-borne disease, and the vector is female Anopheles mosquito. Also trypanosomiasis, even night blindness. Yeah, so night blindness, even yellow fever, although it's caused by arbovirus, but these arbovirus are always carried by vectors such as Aedes aegypti mosquito. So yellow fever is example of a vector-borne disease. So we also have rickettsia. Rickettsia is more like bacteria. It causes this condition, typhus. Then you also have the Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and it's the ticks that are responsible for this. Rocky Mountain spotted fever. You also have the Rocky Mountain spotted fever. And it's the ioxid tick that is responsible for. That is the vector of this. So, even tularemias too. Tularemia, all these are also vector-borne disease. So, you have malaria, which sits right there at the top. Trypanosomiasis, night blindness, yellow fever, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and tularemia. Now, you see, there are also this group of diseases we call sexually transmitted diseases. Yeah, sexually transmitted. Name gives it away. Diseases that are occurred via sexual transmission. That is, they can only be transmitted sexually. So, we say STDs. They have this acronym called STDs. So, sexually transmitted. So, we give them this acronym STDs, right? So, get that. STDs. Sexually transmitted diseases. And we give them STDs. Now, they are transmitted sexually. Let's say they are transmitted via sexual intercourse. And yes, they are manageable. They can be managed. But in most cases, they are. You see, one thing about sexually transmitted disease that associates with them is this tendency for them to always reoccur. That's just a major drawback of sexually transmitted disease. Even after I have treated them, I have cleared them. Herpes, for example, herpes can still show its face after 3 years. Syphilis as well can still present again after it has been treated. So, they have high potential for your occurrence. And before they gave them this beautiful name, STDs, they were called venereal disease. So, before they touched the name up, they were initially referred to as venereal diseases. They were initially referred to as venereal diseases. So, then what are these diseases we are talking about? Gonorrhea is sexually transmitted disease caused by Wucherella gonorrhoeae. There you go. We also have the herpes caused by Herpes simplex virus 1. We also have syphilis caused by Treponema pallidum. Of course, you have your HIV is caused by HIV virus. Then genital wart is caused by the human papilloma virus. And this is also a leading cause of cervical cancer, which affects many women, particularly in their 40s, 50s. And that's why they say, no HPV, no wahala. If you don't have HPV, chances of you developing cervical cancer is low. But if you're a woman, they detect the presence of HPV, you're likely to develop cervical cancer. So genital warts, that's why even from 18 years old, there are some routine checks you should start doing as a lady so that it can be quickly detected and treatment can start on time. Pap smear test. Human papilloma. Our eye is missing there. Okay, human papilloma virus. Is it 2P? Papilloma virus. Genital wart, human papilloma virus. So all these are sexually transmitted disease. And of course, well, it's quite common, but just for the sake of completion, HIV/AIDS, human immunodeficiency virus. Yeah, so we have gone through the vector-borne as well as the sexually transmitted diseases. We have looked at the microorganisms or the disease pathogens involved. For instance, the malaria, which is a vector-borne disease, the pathogen is Plasmodium. It's carried by the female Anopheles mosquito. In the case of trypanosome, it's carried by Tsetse fly. In the case of the Rocky Mountain spotted fever, it's carried by the dog ticks. And in the case of tularemia, also carried by the ticks. So all these are vector-borne diseases carried by vectors which transmit this disease. And in the case of yellow fever, it's carried by this species of mosquito you call Aedes aegypti mosquito. But generally, yellow fever is caused by arboviruses. So, yellow fever virus caused by arboviruses carried by that vector called the Aedes aegypti mosquito. So, once you get infected by any of these vectors, there's likelihood that you come down with these diseases, with these illnesses, with these infections. See you in the next class.